Well, you can expect that the Labour Federation would not be happy at all with the stance that the central bank usually takes when it comes to its policy decisions. And you've said, I am joined by Matthew Parks, who is the Cosatu parliamentary leader. Matthew, thank you for your time this afternoon. Let's start with your reasons for being unhappy about this tightening cycle that the MPC has been on when it comes to the lending rate.
No, Gustin, thanks for having us. Look, we're disappointed. We hope that the Reserve Bank would have given some relief to millions of workers, to the economy, which has really been struggling. Workers are drowning in debt. The cost of living has eroded their purchasing power, the ability to buy food, to pay for transport. We've seen electricity prices go up, fuel transport prices go up, food prices go up. So we really hope, because inflation now is beginning to decrease, we hope the Reserve Bank could have reduced the repo rate, which would have helped give some comfort to workers, to help them reduce the amount they spend on their home loans, their credit cards and so forth. Look, we don't want to see inflation get out of control, but it has been decreasing significantly from a height of 7.8% when the repo rate was really jacked up quite significantly by nearly 500 basis points. It's now at about 4.6%. So we hope the Reserve Bank, at least in the next meeting in September, can give relief to workers like they did during 2020. Because ultimately workers need to be assisted to take care of their families, to pay their debts, to spend money in the economy. So more money in workers' pockets also benefits the economy as a whole, because they'll spend money supporting local businesses, buying food, buying clothes, paying for transport, etc. And also make it easier for businesses too, who are also having significant levels of debt, to also pay workers their salaries, to hire more workers, to expand their production operations too, which also help to grow the economy. So we hope the Reserve Bank in September will be a little bit more generous, a little bit less stingy to workers.
Matthew, we've heard from the Cosatu Federation before talking about this stance of the Reserve Bank of inflation targeting being the sticky point. What is the suggestion? What would Cosatu like to see from a policy point of view when it comes to interest rates, particularly as far as inflation targeting is concerned?
So we agree we need to manage inflation, because when inflation grows, it gets out of control, it's workers who pay the price. Workers' salaries are already so low. They're already saddled with huge debt, with loans to pay and so forth. So we need to manage inflation. But we think at times the Reserve Bank has been excessive. They've jumped at times when they could have gone for a more pragmatic approach. They've just jumped ahead of a 50 basis point or even a 75 basis point hike. And they've done so month after month after month. So we saw during the height of the past 2 years, they increased the repo rate by 475 basis points within about 18 months. And that was excessive. They could have gone for a much more pragmatic approach, especially because the cause of our inflation is largely imported from overseas because of the international oil price. There's not much we can do about that as a country. That's because of the wars in the Middle East or the war in Ukraine, etc., which spooks the international oil price. But having said that, we think the Reserve Bank could have been more pragmatic, given a bit more comfort and ease, cushioning to workers, to the economy. But what we can control is the electricity prices. Eskom has gone for these double-digit hikes for the past 15 years. There was an 18% hike last year, a 12% hike this year. So we hope the Eskom debt relief package and the support Eskom is getting, the progress it's making, can also end the road of Eskom demanding these double-digit tariff hikes, which is also simply an unaffordable burden to workers and to the economy. We think the government needs to review the fuel price regime. About a third of the fuel price taxes are taxes. We think there is some space to reduce that. Government made a promise to do so in 2018, made a promise to do so in 2020. It has run away from keeping that promise. So we do hope the Reserve Bank, Treasury, the Department of Mineral Resources will actually honor that commitment to see how can it reduce it. It may not be easy, but one thing we think can be done is to deal with the Road Accident Fund. The Road Accident Fund is a poster boy for chaos, for anarchy. It has liabilities of about 400 billion rand. It's been treated like a slush fund by these rapacious lawyers who just make a killing at the expense of society. If we can put the RAF under administration and put it on a path of sustainability, it won't also be dependent on these excessive increase every year for the fuel levy as well. So that can also give some comfort. And of course, if government can give more support to Transnet, to Metrorail, that can help insulate food from inflation. It can also help protect commuters in the cities from fuel transport hikes as well, by giving them an alternative which is much cheaper than public transport as well.
Matthew, you've answered somewhat my next question about the reason we are here at City Hall today with the opening of Parliament, uncharted territory for South Africa and the new government of national unity. The president has never been in this position before, where at the Lekgotla at the weekend he would have received input from the parties that are part of the government of national unity. Are you holding any hope whatsoever that in that Lekgotla, from what you've heard in terms of what has been the discussions there, are you holding any hope at all that any of the things you've spoken about could come to light and could come true tonight when the president opens this parliament?
Look, we hope so. We expect so, and we'll make sure they do so. We don't have a choice. Our proposals are common sense. We fix Eskom, we get support to Eskom to end load shedding once and for all, and Eskom is making excellent progress in the past recent while. That enables all workplaces to be productive. If we fix Transnet, that's going to protect and help create thousands of jobs in mining and manufacturing, in agricultural sectors, job-intensive sectors. It also gives the revenue the state needs to fund public services. Again, if we fix Metro Rail, it boosts the urban economy. If we can fix municipalities, especially in our rural communities and our big cities, that helps to ease the pressure on many companies which have been closing and retrenching workers. If we can deal with the issue of corruption in the state, deal with the issue of crime in society by reinforcing the police, the National Prosecuting Authority, the courts. Again, that's going to give confidence to society. It's also going to save the state billions of rands, which could be rather used to fund public services. And some of the things in the state which are struggling are common sense things. If you can employ more staff at Home Affairs, you can fix the IT systems. Workers won't need to spend days at a time queuing for IT documents. If you can fix and modernize the unemployment insurance fund, the compensation injury on duty fund, those services can be dealt with quickly, and that can give relief to workers, to businesses, to society. So I think what we really expect, not so much new policies, but implementation of the laws of the ANC manifesto, which is the policy platform for the GNU. But what we don't have is a luxury of time. Society showed in the election results they are irritated by politicians who talk too much, do too little. So we expect government to hit the ground running. There's no honeymoon. They need to get hitting the ground running in the next few days.
Matthew, thank you very much for your time.